here we are in my studio. I just want to cover really quickly what exactly is a sock blank, and then I can show you how to use one. A sock blank is yarn like this that is put on a knitting machine and knit into a piece of fabric that is then used to knit or crochet or anything that you use yarn for, you can use a sock blank for. It's called a sock blank because a lot of people make socks from them, but you certainly don't have to knit socks. It's sock weight or fingering weight yarn. So anything you use fingering or sock weight yarn, you can use a sock blank for. So the yarn is taken off of a cone and knitted directly onto a knitting machine into a piece of fabric. So here is a sock blank that has come directly off of the machine. It's a plain stockinette stitch. That's basically all it is. This is a beautiful sparkle one, and it's natural, it's undyed. So this is getting ready to be dyed and painted on. Sock blanks are painted. They are airbrushed. They are just squirted with squirt bottles. Any way you can dye yarn, you can dye a sock blank. So for instance, this one is going to turn into a pumpkin latte. So I dyed it a nice orange. So I dyed it first and then I'll paint on top of it. And then this is what it looks like afterwards. So the pumpkin latte. So let's get a close-up and actually see how to use a sock blank. And there are two different kinds of sock blanks. There is a single-stranded and a double-stranded. And we'll go over that quickly too, just so you can see what the differences are. So here's that sock blank I was showing you earlier. Now, before I show you the difference between a single and a double, it's important to know that there is a right side and a wrong side to a sock blank. If you've ever knit from one, you would know this already. So there is a locked end to a sock blank. So I find a string here and I find a string on this side, okay? So how do I know which one to start from? Well, this side is locked. So if you see, if I tug on it, it is locked and I can't. Now, if I tug hard, it will come out, but it will still stay locked. So you can see very closely, it is coming apart because these are live stitches, but it's not coming off of the side, so it's considered locked. The other side, however, will pull easily off, and you can go all the way to the end and pull it all the way around. So you know this is the side, the correct side to knit from. Okay, so if you've ever purchased a sock blank from me, you'll know that I always put a really nice tag that says start creating here. This makes it easier for any of my customers to know this is exactly the direct place to start from. So you'll know it's you know, this is the locked one, and then here's the one you start with. You just cut this off or remove it and start knitting from it. Now, to show you the difference between a single and a double, this is a single. It has one strand of yarn coming from the sock blank. And I pulled out a double one, and if you notice, there's two strands right here. So when you knit from this one, you're going to have two strands. Now, why would you want that? If you knit two socks at a time. Also, an advantage of this is, let's say you wanted to make a shawl, but it called for DK weight yarn. You can certainly use this by holding the two strands together and knitting them at the same time. So that's the difference. You have a single strand for one at a time sock knitting or anything else you knit with, fingering weight yarn, and then a double for two at a time sock knitters, or if you wanted to knit them together for a heavier weight yarn. Now back to the pumpkin latte. Very important to note that whatever design is on this sock blank here will not show up when you knit or crochet with it. This completely disappears. So this is one of the fun parts of a sock blank. You never know what it's going to look like once you start using it. But I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples of what it will look like if you use it to knit something.